Colonel Worsley is a proud military man, and for him, status is everything. Bellevue House represents that status. Unfortunately, due to some misguided financial decisions on his part, Worsley is in danger of losing the house and has taken out a loan from his neighbor, Stuart Stark. Now, this situation is causing Worsley a lot of stress because the house represents the status that he's so proud of. But also, in the face of a crumbling marriage, it's the one thing left his wife truly adores.
How did we do?
30.
30?
They took the pocket watch, the tea set, and the frames.
And the pearls?
Their offer was an insult. The whole lot was worth 3 times what we got for it.
It's better than nothing.
At any rate, we have another month before this becomes an issue.
It's already an issue. I told you I don't feel safe when you're not here. It was bad enough when all he did was wander the grounds, but now he knocks. And he invites himself in. This is our property. We must have rights.
I told you before, this whole thing could be solved if
you had gone to a bank in the first place, instead of him.
Clara, the accumulated interest would have been... We'd have to sell the house, which may be our only option now.
I'm not leaving.
So here we are. I can spend a few extra nights here, if it'll make you happy.
He's a lawyer.
Clara, don't you even think of bringing this up to Hugh. It would be highly improper. And besides, it's rather embarrassing, to be honest.
I don't think you're appreciating my position.
Clara, I've done my due diligence. You
Please,
think I would...
you don't know everything.
Clara, promise me you won't bring it up to Hugh. Please. Please.
Clara is terrified of losing the Bellevue House. If they lose it, she'll have to move back to Montreal with Worsley, which she doesn't really want to do because she's a country girl at heart, and their marriage is a little bit rocky, so she doesn't mind that he spends some of his time in Montreal while she gets to be alone at the Bellevue House. It's almost as if the house is her only source of happiness.
Clara is a fine woman.
Yes, she is something.
You two seem happy.
Of course. Take a look out that window. The lake view. I've often wondered if perhaps your father stood right there, staring out, ruminating on his latest policy. You must hear it all the time, but you really do look like him.
Yes, I do look just like him. And yes, I do hear it all the time.
Are you close?
His name has afforded me many great opportunities, and for that, I am grateful. However, sometimes he feels more like a business associate than family.
He's a busy man, I'm sure. Father of the country and all.
Well, we've had our differences.
Ah, the time spent in a father's shadow. Some stay too long, others never leave.
Well, some fathers cast a more looming shadow than others.
You know why I joined the army? Of course, for adventure, like yourself. And to defend the country and people I believed in. What got me all those medals downstairs? My father. He was a highly decorated naval officer in the forces before me. He led the HMS Shannon's capture of the USS Chesapeake, 1813.
A great military bloodline.
I didn't climb the ranks to make him proud. I climbed them to best him. I may have joined the forces for myself, for my country even, but I stayed because of him. I couldn't be that dead end on the family tree.
Well, do you think you've bested him?
I don't know. What about you?
Of course, I joined the military to defend my country and...
Macdonald. At ease.
I have often wondered if I craved the sort of routine and structure that a different sort of father would have imposed growing up. Well, the Army certainly gave me that, but it gave me something else. Something I didn't know I wanted. In the service, I wasn't John A. Macdonald's son. I was Private Macdonald, a number, a brother, like everyone else. No special treatment.
That's for damn sure.
And I was happy. On the battlefield, action or not, guns fired or holstered, I was myself.
Why leave?
I loved my wife. I wasn't going to be absentee to her or my children. The sins of the father stop here. I promised myself that.
Once a soldier, always a soldier. And drink up. Supper must be almost ready.
Hugh, where did you study law?
Toronto and then Ottawa.
Know anything about homeowner rights?
Clara.
It's quite all right. I have some experience in residential law, but only as it pertains to my own properties or my father's. I helped him negotiate the rental agreements for his Wellington property. I guess I know as much as any lawyer worth his salt.
Property law is not his specialty.
Certainly not, but what is your question?
The Montreal property. It's a stunning piece of architecture, and I just want to be sure I can get a good return for it when the time comes. I'm sure I will.
I imagine it must be difficult being away from each other for such long stretches of time.
Oh,
Not
yes.
really.
I saw an advertisement for a pantomime being put on in your market square. Have either of you seen it?
No, not yet. I believe Maeve has.
Really? I wonder where she got the money for that.
Or perhaps I'll ask her how it was. Now, I must say that this place really feels like a home.
Oh, I'm happy to hear it.
Clara is quite enamored with your family home.
I adore it.
What do you love most?
The view. And would you believe I have not missed one sunrise in all the time we've lived here?
That is something.
Perhaps we'll have a bright one for you tomorrow.
They call your father Kingston's favorite son, but I think Claire would disagree.
Oh. Yes. Yes.
Hugh, where's your wife? Already left for Winnipeg?
Clara.
No. My wife recently passed. It's just me now, and our daughter, and she spends most of her time with her grandparents while I get my affairs in order.
I didn't know.
Yeah, of course not.
What was her name?
Jean. Her name was Jean. She was a wonder of a woman. She showed me who I really was inside and that I could value that person. Her and my father never really got along. In fact, he barely acknowledged our marriage. It took him nearly a year to offer his condolences. And even then it was in the form of a financial offering. As if that could... I'm sorry, I apologize.
Clara,
I didn't know.
why bring it up at all? And then to ask her name.
The man lost his wife.
He's here to see the house. Leave it alone. And what was that about homeowner rights? I gave you specific
We're
instructions.
man and wife. I'm not under your command.
I'm sorry.
this is all a bit much.